Thank you for choosing Skywalker Trampolines and welcome to the 15x9 Rectangle Trampoline Assembly video. Before assembling your trampoline, make sure you have all the parts listed in the manual. We advise asking a friend to help you assemble your new trampoline. Tighten all screws and bolts required for assembly with the provided screwdriver and wrench. If available, it might be helpful to use a Phillips screwdriver or cordless drill to tighten screws. Before we jump into it, register the product warranty for your trampoline at skywalkertrampolines.com. Now locate one corner tube, one straight tube, and two sockets. Connect the corner tube and the straight tube, making sure the straight tube connects to the corner tube with 3 holes. The spring holes should be facing down. Then connect the sockets to the end of the tubes. Secure the sockets with bolts, washers, and nuts according to the manual. Once the bolts are tightened, place caps on the end of the bolts. Repeat until you have all 4 frame sections assembled. Locate one male leg and one female leg. Insert the longer side of the male leg into the female leg and secure using a bolt, washer, and nut. Repeat until you have all 4 U-shaped leg sections. Find the leg posts and insert all of them into the sockets on the frame sections. Now take those U-shaped leg sections and insert the ends into the leg posts. Secure the leg posts with bolts, washers, and nuts according to the manual. Repeat until all 8 leg posts are secured and the bolts are tightened. You should now have 4 assembled corner leg sections. Flip the corner leg section over so they are now standing on the legs. If you do not flip the frame now, it will be too heavy to flip later. Find a middle frame tube and connect 2 corner leg sections together. There is a slight bend in the middle frame tube and you will want to make sure it is facing out before you slide the sections together. Connect the rest of the corner leg sections together with middle frame tubes, and you'll have a freestanding frame. If your enclosure net needs to be attached to the jump mat, lay the jump mat on the ground with the enclosure net on top. Make sure the long and short sides match. Find the hole just left of the enclosure door and the corresponding V-ring. You may need to count the V-rings and holes to make sure they line up. Please make sure each V-ring on the jump mat is properly threaded through the corresponding holes on the enclosure net. Place the jump mat on the ground inside the frame with the enclosure net on top. Place it so the mat lines up with the frame. Be sure to center the enclosure door on the long side of the frame. This is the spring you will need for right now. Using the provided spring tool, hook the smaller end of the spring into the V-ring that's just left of a corner D-ring. Stretch the spring until it reaches the nearest frame hole on the corner tube. Do not place springs on the corner D-rings yet. Repeat until you have attached 4 springs on each corner. Attach 4 big springs to the middle of the frame tube. Repeat until you have 4 big springs on each of the middle frame tubes. Then hook 2 springs into the D-ring on the corner of the jump mat. Stretch the springs until they reach the nearest frame holes on the corner tube. Do this until you have 2 springs on all 4 corner D-rings. Put 2 springs on each side of the sockets on the long sides of the frame. You should place 4 springs on each long side for a total of 8 springs placed. Working in a clockwise direction, attach all of the remaining springs. Make sure the V-rings and frame holes line up correctly. You now have a trampoline, but we're not finished yet. Pick up the 2 frame pad pieces and lay them on the frame. Adjust the frame pad so that the slits are directly above the sockets. Tie the 2 frame pad pieces together. Look under your trampoline and you'll find straps attached to the underside of the frame pad. Position the outer straps so that one strap is on each side of the frame. Position the inner strap so that one strap is threaded through a V-ring. Tie all of the straps in bows. If you tie them in a knot, you'll have a hard time untying them ever again. Secure the corners of the frame pads to the frame using the attached straps and clip the straps to the D-rings on each corner. Insert one straight tube into one curved tube, making sure the two holes are on top. Secure with one self-tapping screw according to the manual. Repeat until you have 8 assembled pieces. Now you'll need to insert the pole cap into one strap ring found on the top of the enclosure net. Make sure the hexagon hole is facing the net and the round hole is facing you. Next, insert a curved tube into a pole cap with the bend facing away from the trampoline. Make sure the holes on the top of the curved tube, pole cap, and strap ring are all aligned. Then use a bolt to secure it in place. Make sure you put the bolt in the round hole first. Do this with all 8 poles. Starting from the enclosure door, lift the assembled poles and insert the straight tube into the socket. Pulling back on the middle of the pole will help you insert the tube into the socket. Do this with all 8 poles. And finally, insert the end caps into the bottom of the sockets. Congratulations on completing the assembly of your Skywalker trampoline. This may not have been the easiest thing you've ever done, but you did it, and we couldn't be more proud. For more information, please visit our website, skywalkertrampolines.com, or follow us on social media.